this guy is back in business, right? Cody Bellinger.
He's done it again. Another belly bomb. Well, he is just red hot.
He was Gold Glove anywhere you put him. Added value consistently.
Coming in, Bellinger slides and makes the catch. Beautiful play by Cody Bellinger.
It's a sweet, sweet swing, man.
Oh, baby, onto the batter's eye. He crushed it.
Cody Bellinger with a rocket.
He has an ability to get hits when a lot of guys don't.
It's a 5-hit night for Belly. First career 5-hit game.
Well, as we talked about before the break, yeah, Cody Bellinger bounced back in a big way in 2023. Who is set to have a Bellinger-like bounce back 2024, Keith?
Yeah, guys, maybe guys that didn't have quite as much room for improvement as Bellinger. They hadn't quite gotten to the level that Bellinger had bottomed out at, but still some big names with some uncharacteristic seasons in 2023 that have some room to get back to where they were. So we'll start with this combo, Maddie. We discussed it last week in Spring Daydreaming. The Cardinals' cornerstones in Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt, both MVP finalists in the previous year. Goldschmidt won it. Arenado finished third. Last year, you go by WAR, basically half of the production that they had in the season before. Now, we know the Cardinals went through a lot of changes. Pujols and Yadi were gone last year. Brought Matt Carpenter back recently with the idea that he could kind of take some of the leadership void off of these two. That was a little bit eyebrow-raising for some people, but if it works and they can just focus on their play on the field, I would expect both of these guys to bounce back in 2024. Now, how about going on the pitching side, guys? This is somebody we've talked about throughout the offseason. No movement yet. Still one of the hotter names on the market, potentially as a trade chip, either before we get to spring training or maybe more likely at this point during the season. But not exactly a vintage Dylan Cease campaign last year. His ERA nearly more than doubled from 2022 when he was the Cy Young runner-up. And it wasn't just that he was missing the zone and walking more batters, guys. Look at that bottom line. The hard hit rate jumped by 10%. It was the largest increase in the league. Now, this next one, guys, he's coming off a 3 straight All-Star season, so it's not like he's bottomed out. But this is becoming kind of a thing for Vlad Guerrero, and it's a little bit concerning. You think about all those games that they played in the minor league parks during COVID. That OPS on the left side, guys, 1 point higher than Babe Ruth's career mark. All the other ballparks, 1 point higher than Corey Hart. A good player, but certainly not Babe Ruth. So this is becoming a little bit of a trend for Guerrero that people that don't follow the Blue Jays on a day-to-day basis might not be aware of. Now, Maddie, this next one, I got to give you credit for coming up with the full screen a few weeks back. Guys that have pitched for 3 teams in the same season since this network has been on the air, it's usually not an indicator that good things are coming, although there's certainly reason for optimism with Lucas Giolito. He was a 3.79 ERA with Chicago before the trade, then ended the season going 2-9 with a 6.96 ERA with the Angels and Guardians. I think most people like the deal for him in Boston. Boston has a need. It's a good fit for him. He's got a player option for 2025, so if he bounces back, he can hit the market again next year. Lucas Giolito to Boston has a chance, I think, to do better than the other 3 guys on this board. And the last one, guys, he already kind of started to bounce back late in the season. First year in Houston for Jose Abreu, not what we've become accustomed to, but 7 homers in September, then 13 RBIs in 11 playoff games, a 945 OPS in October. So like I said, already kind of started to turn the corner in his first campaign in Houston. Who on that list, guys, strikes your fancy for 2024?
Well, those are all really good candidates, and I agree with everything you said about Giolito having more consistency and a good fit in Boston, about Abreu beginning his turnaround last year. But the interesting 2 players for me there were Goldschmidt and Arenado. And I think, you know, they had the same season statistically. Like Goldie hit 25 homers, Arenado hit 26. That was Arenado's lowest home run total in the big leagues in any non-COVID shortened season. I think a couple things. Arenado's 4 years younger than Goldschmidt. And I think because he's such a grinder and he plays with such emotion and has from what we know about him, he likes to, carry things on his back. He wants to lift a team out of a collective malaise. And the Cardinals were in one all year last year. I think because the Cardinals cast around him, most notably the pitching is going to be better, Arenado's going to grind less, and it's going to free him up to reach those kind of pre-2023 levels. He, for me, is the biggest candidate to bounce back this year.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you what, when I look at Goldie, I understand that he's not, 25 anymore, but I expect him to fully make an adjustment. As long as both of these guys are healthy, they will definitely bounce back. And it's incredible that we're kind of scuffing at a 20-plus homer season from them.
Yeah.
Right? We're like, they had an off year.
Yeah.
20-some home runs. Are you kidding me? This is how good they are.
Yeah, I mean, we've come to expect such big thresholds from these guys statistically. Here's the board that Keith put together once again. They combined to hit 267. Again, they almost mirrored one another stat for stat in what was a down year for the whole team. I think we both look for those guys to bounce back. By the way, Goldschmidt is so jacked, and both of those guys take such good care of their bodies that there's no reason to expect any physical decline. I mean, Goldie's 36. Arenado's 32, so what? Like, those guys have plenty of fuel left in the tank.
Serious. Great shape.
Yeah, good stuff, Keith. Which one of those two Cardinals do you think, by the way, if you had to pick one, which one bounces back?
I just think what you said about Arenado is completely on the money, Matty. It feels like he's not going to be a guy. Not that Goldie is by any means, but it seems like Arenado's going to be incredibly motivated coming into this year. Had a little bit of a back issue, so gets back to full health. I think Arenado bounces back.
I think so, too.
Another one that intrigues me is Cease. You know, Dylan Cease has been the talk of trades, and everybody wants him, and I know that he had a down year, but when you look at what he did the year before, you think to yourself, man, the tools are certainly there. Yeah. I'm more concerned about why and how the struggle happens, right, after you have a good season. What went wrong? And you know how closely I look at pitch sequencing. It's pitch sequencing for Dylan Cease. If he's able to control where he wants to throw it, fine, but you have to go to the right spot. So I think the fix or the adjustment is easier than we think. So whoever lands him, if they're able to help him, these are the type of numbers that he's capable of doing. Sub 3 ERA, you can take that to the bank.